So, have you ever wondered how the business consultants take a struggling company and build a complete strategy to save it? Today, we're going to do exactly that by diving deep into a business case for a fashion retailer facing some serious challenges. Hi, I'm Muhtasim Abedin, a strategic business consultant specializing in business transformation, in data-driven analysis, and strategic framework to solve complex business challenges just like the one we are tackling today. So, the main reason for me to go through this business case study is for me to show how I generally approach a business case study and how I go from first step to the very last step. And I'm going to keep it very surface level and I'm not going to go too deep into it because obviously it's going to take up very long time. It's going to be a 2-3 hours video, which I don't want you to get bored by seeing the whole thing. But you will get the idea that how I approach and what are the steps I go through. Obviously, I don't go through the same steps or the same way for every business case, but this is pretty much the blueprint that I would generally follow. So I'm going to apply various steps of the consulting methodology that I follow to this business case study, which is the UrbanEcho Apparel. We are going to be zeroing in on a specific sector that touches all our lives, which is retail. And we'll be discussing about this fictional fashion retailer, UrbanEcho Apparel. This will allow us to see how those core consulting principles apply in a dynamic customer-facing industry and tackling very real challenges like the shifting consumer habits and the rise of e-commerce. Okay, so let's hop onto the video. Alright, okay, so UrbanEcho Apparel has around 50 stores across several regions and a basic e-commerce website. And for many years, they are known for trendy, good quality clothing at a major price point. However, recently they are facing some issues. The first one is the declining foot traffic. Second one is shrinking gross margins. Third one, increased competition. And the fourth is online and offline integration struggle. So these are our 4 issues that the business is facing, and we'll be going deep into all the issues and we'll be saying that what we can do in order to get the solution. By the way, a quick note, I have made all the images and the graphics you're seeing by Napkin AI. Absolutely love it and amazing tool. You just have to give the data and it gives you instant visuals and you'll just love it. Okay, let's continue. So these are the 5 steps that we'll be following, the 5 brackets that we'll follow to get to the solution and to implement the solution. At first, we'll be defining the problem. So where we'll be identifying and clarifying the issues and we'll be addressing it and deep dive into the issues and we'll try to get a solution out of it, right? Okay, so the first step is defining the problem. This is the stage where I ask the owner or the stakeholder a bunch of questions about the business and I try to dive deep into the issue and what are the issues they're facing, and I try to gather as much understanding as I can about the business in and out so that I can come up with the most relevant and most appropriate solution. Generally, the first question that I ask will be always regarding the sales performance. So what I would generally like to know is what is the recent trend performance look like? Like what is the LFL? LFL is the like-for-like sales growth, especially over the past, could be 1 to 2 years, 1 to 3 years. What I'd like to know is are the LFL sales growing or showing a decline, like 5 to 10% over a year, or is it growing, or how is the performance overall? And is the rate of this decline accelerating, stable, or decelerating? That's what I would like to know. So the reason I want to know is the LFL sales, which is also known as the same store sales, are very critical for the retailer's core operational health. Right? By excluding the impact of these new stores or opening or the closure, LFL sales reveal that whether these existing stores are genuinely growing their revenue or not. The second one is about concerning probability and margins. Here, I generally want to know that if the gross margin percentage was evolved in the past few years, like suppose 1 to 2 years, could be 1 to 3 years. So, is it like a decline of 55% to 40 or 30% or not? That's what I would like to know. And what is the proportion of this erosion that can be attributed to the increased markdown versus for an increase in the cost of goods sold, which is also known as a COGS, could be due to some different factors like initiation or supplier price hikes. Right? This is because the declining gross margin could be a signal that company is keeping less profit from each sales, and it's also very vital to dissect why this is happening. Right? If it is primarily due to the increased margin, then it could suggest us that the problem with the inventory management, or could be a problem with your poor buying decisions, or also could be the inability to sell the products at like the price you want it to be. Okay, so that's why I want to know what's going on in this sector. For the third question about the assessment of the inventory management efficiency, what I'm interested to know is like what is the current key inventory health metrics looks like, especially what is the inventory turnover rate. For example, has it decreased from 4x to a current 2.5x or 2x or something like that? And what is the average number of weeks of supply on hand that we still have? What percentage of the current inventory is considered aged? For an example, is the stock older than 90 or 120 days without a sell or not? The reason being the inventory is one of the largest assets and the biggest potential liabilities of any retailer. And low inventory turnover rate potentially mean that the products are sitting on our shelves for too long, and could be that is tying up the capital or incurring the holding cost, and also could be increasing the risk. This also could be the indication that how long the current inventory could last, or is it too high of a number to suggest that overbuying or the slow sales. For the fourth question, it's actually about evaluation of the online channel effectiveness, which is, I think, a very important step to be considered. The question I would generally ask is that what are the key performance indicators for this business? For example, for UrbanEcho, I would ask that what are the key performance indicators for UrbanEcho's e-commerce channel? And this includes whether the website's average conversion rate is 0.8%, while industry benchmarking could also be like 2 to 3% or 4%, something like that. So is it matching with the industry standard? And also the current online channels percentage of contribution to the sales. The reason I ask this is for a modern retailer, healthy online presence is pretty much non-negotiable, and this actually measures the percentage of website visitors who completes a purchase despite recent traffic, and it can indicate issues like website usability, product presentation, pricing, trust, whatnot, right? And also high abandonment rate is actually suggests the friction in the final stage of the online purchase journey. For example, it could be the unexpected shipping cost or complicated checkout forms and etc. And the online share of sales actually indicates at how well the online channel is contributing to the overall revenue. Okay, last but not the least, I would like to know, or I would like to understand, is the customer sentiment and the pain points, which is very, very important to me. So, what are the most common themes or praises and critical complaints that usually emerges from the customer directly through the feedback channels? This could include like the data for customer surveys or the reviews posted on e-commerce site and the third-party platform like could be Google reviews, or there's a platform called Yelp, all these things. And also the comments on the social media, very important. What I would like to know is that are there some issues like the keywords that find difficulty in finding my sizes, or could be that product is often stock out or website is hard to navigate. So I generally look for these things, these keywords or these customers' pain points. That's very important. And actually, this quantity data, what it tells us is that what is happening, but the quality data, that the customer feedback often tell us why. So the why is very important. So this common complaints highlight actually the specific pain points in the customer journey, whether related to the product availability, the fit, or the style, or the service. By service, I mean like the in-store, could be in-store or online, or could be processes like the returning and stuff. So static feedbacks are very important for pinpointing the areas that are frustrating the customers and likely contributing to the declining sales and could eventually cause the loyalty. Okay, let's move on. Now, this part is also quite important. You also need to understand that who is actually affected by the problems the most. So it could be the employees, could be the investors or the stakeholders, could be the landlords, could be the customers. So this gives us a clear idea that here's the pain point we need to target and what is the main area that we need to diagnosis, and we need to target and do the diagnosis. Okay. Understanding the root causes of inventory and forecasting issues. So this is another very important issue where we need to understand is it the unsold inventory, where could there be a mismatch between supply and demand? Is it the taken sourcing, where the modern tools and agile softwares be neglected? Or is it the shrinking margin, where the active measure can be taken to clear the excess inventory, right? Or can it be the inaccurate planning, the limited real-time data analysis? Or is it the underinvestment, where immediate savings are prioritized over strategy? For step 2, we'll be looking at one of the most important thing for data gathering for any business, which is the sales report. So this is kind of like the heart and soul of any business case, where we can see all the data and then we can analyze the data to implement the solution. So here we have the sales report for UrbanEcho. So I consider this as a very ideal kind of report, and as it has almost everything you can ask for, which is, as you can see, all the details of the orders, the customer details, the geographical data, here the state, city, country, the segment, customer name and ID, also the category, the product ID, the region, and the product name. We have the subcategory, then the sales, quantity, discount, profit. So we have literally everything here. So this is a very good report that we have almost everything, and it will be very easy for us to plot the graphs later on. So what we'll do is we'll visualize this data in Power BI next, and let's go for it. So now here we are in Power BI. The sales report that I have shown you previously, I have imported the sales report, the Excel file here in Power BI, and now I'm going to create the visuals here. Basically, we're going to make the data talk, and this is actually very important for any non-technical person who actually doesn't know all the technical stuffs and all. So it helps a lot to visualize and to understand what's going wrong and what's going right with the business and what steps to be taken for next. Let's do it very quickly, and it won't take much time, and let's see. Control slash, and then I have to select a data chart. Let's go for the donut. We're going to do, what can we do? Let's go for sales with regime. And as simple as that. Let's put it here. We'll make it a bit bigger. That's it. In the middle. The next one, I can also double tap it and then create another one. So next I want to go for the file chart, and we'll do sales by, let's go for subcategory. There you go. Done. As simple as that. The next one. Now let's select, let's go for this one, the pie chart. Seems interesting. Again, sales. We can go for the segment. Bingo. Next one, let's take this one. What do you say? Okay. Here, I want to go with sales with, let's go with order date, as we need to know the dates and when it was ordered. Okay, good enough. Happy with that. Next one. So I'm thinking of going another sales by region, as this is a donut chart. I want a bit more detailed view, so I want to go with something like this, a clustered bar chart where I can do it sales and region. Yeah, this gives me a bit more clarity. So the next one I want to select is tree map. So let's go for sales by, what can I go with? Let's go with category. Awesome. Now I want to add on some cards here, which will purely show us just the numbers. Create on card, click on card, and I want the discount amount. Should be fine. And then let's go for another card. What can I select? I want to have the quantity. There you go. Have the quantity now. Sales should be sales. Another card, and let's go for sales. What is my sales amount? This is it. Going for the next one. Now I definitely need my profit. There you go. I have my profit now. Text box. I need the title. Need a bigger font. 36 should be fine. And the color, let's go with this one. Okay, seems fine. Now it seems fine, but still looks a bit whitish to me. Very blunt. So let's go ahead and select a theme. Go to view, theme. I need some dark color. Seems fine in a bit. Okay, there you go. So report is ready. And the best part of this report is it is completely interactive, each and every part of the report. Let's say I click this part and the whole report changes. See, isn't it amazing? So that's why I love this visualization tools, especially Power BI is amazing. So I can select this, and you see the number in the cars are updating as well. So technology, this number, furniture, this is the number. Isn't it amazing? The whole board just changes and I can see all the live numbers and everything. This is very cool. This is the data visualization and we have made it very quickly. It's very quick to make. No, not much hustle, and amazing for understanding the business. We have reached step 3, which is all about conducting analysis. We conduct this analysis based on the vast amount of data we have in our hand, convert this into actionable insights. The first thing I would do in analysis is SWOT analysis. Okay, in the SWOT analysis, let's deal with the strength. What is the strength of UrbanEcho? So the strengths are based on the data. We can see the strengths are established branding, existing physical store footprint, or just experienced buying team, some loyal customer base. Weaknesses are outdated inventory management systems, slow reaction to fast fashion trends, weak online presence and user experience, and a high operating cost of underperforming stores. Opportunities are leverage customer data for personalization, explore sustainable or ethical fashion niches, optimize product with data-driven insights, improve supply chain agility. The threats are intense competition from fast fashion, rapidly changing consumer preference, rising customer acquisition cost online, and supply chain disruptions. I'm not going to each and every step that how I have gotten this from the data because it's gonna make the video very long. So I'm just keeping it on the surface level. The next analysis that I like to do is the strategic analysis, which contains 5 different analysis steps, as you can see. So let's see one by one. The first one being the Porter's 5 principle, one of my favorite. The first one is the threat of new entrants. So it could be the online D2C brands with low setup cost, or could be the leveraging social media. The second one is bargaining power of buyers. It could be the low switching cost, could be vast choice, could be the price transparency in the online sector, also could be the demand for value and uniqueness. Bargaining power of suppliers. This refers to the standard apparel, or could also be the many manufacturers globally, or the threat of substitute products. In this sector, what they refer is the consumers can actually very easily switch to different brands, right, or different styles, or the second-hand clothing, or it could even reduce the overall apparel consumption as well. The intensity of rivalry. In this one, it could be like a very highly fragmented market, could be the constant price pressure, could be the battle for trend leadership, and it can also be the customer attention. That also falls under that. The next one is customer segmentation. So the customer segmentation could be based on the demographics, psychographics, could be the purchasing behavior, could be the needs and pain points, value drivers, and we'll also need to see if the current offerings are aligned. The product portfolio analysis. So in this one, we analyze the product categories by the sales volume, with growth rate, or also profitability. And then we need to identify the stars. Like, what do I mean by stars is stars actually represents the high growth and high profit. Which are the products that has high growth and high profit? And then there's like dogs. So by dogs, I mean which are the one that has low growth and low profit. Another category is the question mark, that I call question mark. It is the segment where there's like high growth but low profit. And then comes the cash cows. Cash cows, I refer to the segment where it's a low growth, but it also has a high profit. In the value chain analysis, we need to identify mainly 3 things. The first one is the cost drivers, second is the inefficiencies, and third one is the opportunities. For example, it could be the long design to market cycles, could be inefficient warehouse processes, or could be the costly last mile delivery for, let's say, like online orders. Okay, last but not the least, the benchmarking analysis. So here we need to compare the business's key performance indicators, which we call KPIs. So we need to measure the KPIs with the gross margin, the inventory turn, sales per square foot, and the online conversion rate. Okay, so in step 4, we will be generating solutions based on the data we have gathered so far, and also the analysis we have done with the gathered data. So first we'll be looking at the strategic blueprint of the business, which will be in 7 steps, and we'll see which all category we can implement the solutions. So the potential solution. First, we have the omnichannel excellence. What we can do here is we can implement the OMS, which is order management system, for the unified inventory. And then we can also offer the flexible fulfillment. which will include the online pickup in store or ship from store, or could be the research online try in store. So these are the things you can include. We can also do a seamless online or offline return policy. Then the third thing what you can do is we can do a consistent branding and promotion across all the channels of the business. For the second option, we have the merchandising and inventory optimization. In this category, what you can do is you can invest in the modern demanding forecasting, and we can also use the AI powered tools. Then we can go on to reduce the SKU complexities and focus on the core and profitable items. And then we can go on to implement a fast fashion track for a small percentage of the trendy items, right? Enhance in-store and customer experience. So here what we are looking for is to refresh the store layout. So we're looking forward to making it more engaging, experimental, like including style lounges or interactive displays. And then important thing will be to invest in the staff training. The staff training can include product knowledge, consultative selling, and omnichannel service skills. And then we can also post the in-store events, the workshops or pop-ups. For the digital transformation and e-commerce growth, we can, for example, revamp the whole e-commerce platform. By that, what I mean is we can improve the UI UX, we can optimize the mobile layout, we can also try to have a faster checkout process. We can also invest in the digital marketing, for example, SEO, SEM, or targeted social media advertising. And we can also include the influencer marketing. Also do the email marketing and loyalty programs, and we can build a strong CRM and that will leverage our data. The supply chain agility and sustainability. So here we can include the nearshore options for quicker turnaround for some of the items. And we can also explore the sustainable materials and ethical sourcing to appeal to the conscious customer bases. And also we can improve the transparency in the supply chain. For the future store concepting, I want you to imagine like what can we do in the next 3 to 5 years for this business. For example, what technologies or services and experiences could it offer? For example, it could offer the smart meters, or it could also offer the style advisors equipped with the tablets, and then it could hold in-store events and all. For the competitive teardown and reapplication, we can analyze what the successful competitors are doing, right? For example, we can study Zara's agile supply chain. We can take the stitches, fixes, personalization. We can also look forward to Lululemon's community building, and we can then adapt to these relevant strategies for our business. After figuring out the potential solutions, what we need to do is to evaluate the potential solutions. We need to evaluate whether the potential solutions are possible to implement or not. So the first one is the strategic alignment. Here, we need to see that does it fit the UrbanEcho's desired brand positioning and target customers, right? And then we have the financial impact, where we have to figure out the potential uplift in sales, we have to see the margin improvement, the ROI, etc. For example, like implementing a unified inventory is projected to reduce the losses due to the customer impact. So here we need to ask the question that will this significantly improve the customer experience and drive the loyalty or not? So the feasibility and complexity. Here we need to see, can the business implement this solution given its current capabilities or the budget issue and timeline? And what are the technical and organizational challenges that we might be facing? Time to value. So here we need to ask that how quickly can my business benefit? As you know, a brilliant strategy always needs a flawless execution plan. And that's what the step 5 focuses on. It is the word how. So that's what we're going to see in the implementation plan, that how can we implement this strategy and everything that we have been planning so far. So we will be dealing this implementation planning in 6 different phases. The first phase will be focusing on the vendor selection and the system design. What happens here is that here we'll be defining a detailed business requirements, and we're going to issue a RFP. RFP is a request for proposal, So this is done to shortlist the OMS vendors. Then we'll also be selecting the final vendors and collaborate to design the high-level system architect and the integration points. For the system development and integration, we'll be configuring the core OMS platform and we'll develop any necessary customization that is needed. Then we'll be building and testing the crucial data connections between the OMS and UrbanEcho, so existing e-commerce or the ERP and also the POS, which is a point of sale system. For phase 3, it will be testing and run a pilot program. So what we do here is we'll conduct a thorough user acceptance testing, UAT, with the key business users to ensure all the functionalities work as expected. And then we'll also be launching the system in a limited number of pilot stores, for example 3 to 5 stores, to test the process in a live environment and gather the feedback of the customers. For phase 4, we'll be training the pilot store staff and relevant HQ teams, for example customer service and ITs and all. Still here, what we generally do is to develop the comprehensive training materials, user guides, and standard operating procedures, which is known as SOPs, for the new omnichannel processes. Then what we do is we conduct a hands-on training session for the store associates only, and then also train the customer service agents and IT support staff who are involved in the pilot. In phase 5, we'll do a nationwide rollout. So here we execute a phased rollout schedule to deploy the new system and processes to all the remaining stores region by region, and we can provide on-site support during the initial launch week at each new store to manage issues and ensure a smooth transition. Last but not least, for post-implementation support and optimization, we can establish a dedicated support team to manage the ongoing system maintenance, the troubleshooting, and the user inquiries. And then we'll be continuously monitoring the system performance and key metrics, for example, lead inventory accuracy or the fulfillment speed, to identify the opportunities for the optimization. Well, this has been quite a ride. So please share your thoughts, questions, and insights in the comments below, and I'm very eager to see your feedback about the video. If this detailed breakdown was valuable to you, please hit the like button and subscribe for more strategic insights. Thank you for joining me on this retail journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.